Welcome to the Sustaining Creativity Podcast. I'm your host, Mari Reesberg. Over the past several years, I've combined my degrees in acting and somatic psychology to share my sustaining creativity techniques with performers. And now I've decided to share it with a bigger audience that includes you. I believe we are all creative, and this podcast is all about that. I'll be interviewing people from all backgrounds, ages, and creativity experiences to share just how creative we all are. Today, I'll be chatting with Arlene Cohen Miller, work-life balance and harmony coach. Please enjoy Arlene Cohen Miller. Welcome to the Sustaining Creativity Podcast. Today, I'm here with Arlene Cohen Miller, work-life balance and professional certified coach. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really grateful to be here.
I'm excited to chat with you about creativity, work-life balance, gratitude, all of the pieces that you bring. But before we get into it, why don't you take a couple of minutes and let our listeners know a little bit more about who you are and what you do?
I am a work-life balance and harmony coach for women and a transformational mentor for men. But I did start off deciding when I was 15 to become an attorney, much to my mom and dad's surprise. I did go to law school. I did become an attorney. I've been a divorce and child custody attorney, and I've also been a commercial attorney because I got a little bit burned out on the first one. And I help businesses collect their debt. And so I had two law firms, a solo practice in a suburb of Cleveland, Ohio. So that when my son was 9, we moved out to a suburb of Denver, Colorado, and I bought into a small boutique law firm that just specialized in commercial law. And now I'm a work-life balance coach. I got my certification in that, and I'm a professional certified coach with the International Coaching Federation when I was still a lawyer. I also got a diploma in transformational holistic counseling and became certified as a meditation facilitator when I was also a lawyer because I just had this intuitive knowing that no one taught me how to listen. No one taught me how to just to be with people. They taught me how to win cases. And that just wasn't getting it anymore because I was negotiating with people and I was marketing. And so I became a little bit burned out with the law. It's very stressful. It never ever goes away. You're always an attorney wherever you go. And I love, 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 love being a coach and a mentor and a facilitator now. And that's a little bit about me.
I mean, that's wonderful. And I can only imagine how stressful it is to be in that legal field and experience just the intensity of it. I bet meditation and mindfulness were very helpful to.
And creativity. Oh my God, if I hadn't had
Yes.
some creative outlets, I probably would have tucked it under way before that.
Yeah. I love that you brought up creativity since we're here to chat more about creativity. I'm curious, when you think about creativity, what does it mean to you to be creative?
Well, for a while, I've been married and divorced. I took up painting. One of my friends, my dear friends in Longmont, Colorado, where I live, is a really great artist, and so I took art lessons with him for years, and I really got into pastels and loved that form of creativity. It just kind of blossomed out of me, and I did a lot of painting when I got divorced because I wanted to furnish my whole place where I live with my artwork. I don't do as much now at all. I'm into other things like I love writing for blogs and stuff like that. That's my creativity. But I mean, I think creativity comes in everywhere. You know, if I facilitate a class, if I do a speaking engagement, I sure well bring some creativity and humor into it, or people are going to be really, really bored. So it's everywhere.
Yeah. I love the filling your home with all of your art to brighten it up and help you reconnect to, I imagine, yourself
Yeah.
after a divorce, that one would need to find that reconnection before heading out back into the world if you choose to.
Yeah, it was great. I really, because I got better at it pretty quick, and I was like, whoa. And I had some other people around me. We come every day a week for art, and after that, one of my friends had let me use a place in her building that she and her partner owned, and it was just like such a wonderful way to evolve and grow. And I never knew that I had that talent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was just like, whoa, I didn't know I had that. So
It's
yeah,
nice
we
to
just
be
never know.
surprised.
Yeah, you never know until we try.
Absolutely. Now, I'm really curious. This, I feel like a lot of people hear the phrase work-life balance. But what does that mean to you as a work-life balance coach? How does that show up? What are you doing? What does that look like?
Well, I want to say one thing. I've added in all my bios now work-life balance and harmony because
And
the work-life
harmony.
balance becomes like it feels like the scales of justice.
Yeah.
And I think that causes people, especially women, to go into that perfection mode where everything has to be perfect. And that
Mhm.
never ever happens. You know, we have to be flexible, we have to be adaptable. Things are always changing. And so I think that what really helps with that work-life balance and harmony is to adjust our expectations of ourselves. We put these expectations, I don't know about you, but I do know about me as a young attorney. And I would have this expectation of getting all this stuff done in one day. And
Mhm.
by that time, my son was in school and I was employed for myself, so I could go pick him up and do this other stuff and maybe do some work at night. So it wasn't just me. And all those expectations just set us up to feel like we're a failure
Mhm.
if we don't readjust them so that they're like, this is what I can actually do in one day. And this is my top priority. And when I get that done, first thing, I'm going to do a little happy dance and I'm going to acknowledge myself and I'm going to celebrate. And we don't give that to ourselves. So I love to help my clients that are mostly women. I'm expanding now into the techies because they are so unbelievably stressed out. And I love to help
Mhm.
people that are stressed. It's just that we bring in this perfectionism, we have these unrealistic expectations, we have this stuff from our childhood where we talk negatively to ourselves,
Mhm.
and it's just a recipe for disaster. And when we begin to heal ourselves from the inside out and feel different on the inside,
Mhm.
then everything begins to change.
It's beautiful. Absolutely. I agree. The harmony piece is an important aspect to finding balance in life and work and making it all cohesive and work for you. And I imagine it's different for every person that you work with. And working with so many different people, how do you how do you support them to face the challenges that come up and maybe some of the creative challenges that you see with people?
Yeah. Um, well, one of the things I really love about the coaching diploma I got, and I got a diploma also in that transformational holistic counseling. It was from Australia. I can't use
Mm,
it in the US, but one of my friends, you know, wrote it and it was
mm,
amazing. And I wanted the feel of it.
mm,
And one of the things I really learned as a coach is how to hold this huge space of non-judgment and how to hold this huge space of it's called unconditional positive regard. I call it
mhm,
unconditional love. It's
mm,
like I'm going to love and support you no matter what you say, no matter what you do. I mean, don't attack me. And I give you that nice huge space just to be there. So
mm,
most people when you're talking to them, they're all enveloped in themselves. They're only thinking
mm,
about what they're going to share or say to rebuke you or to one up you or to just talk about themselves. And we don't do that as coaches. We don't do that as, I guess, the counselors. We hold that huge space. And
mhm,
that in itself is transformational
mm,
when you're gifted with that space.
mhm,
And so that's the first thing I give. That's the first thing I hold. And then I just work with them with whatever comes up because we all have challenges. We all have obstacles. We all have really difficult things that happen in our lives. But if we're able to talk about them with someone that actually listens,
mhm,
and we can get to a new point. We can have realizations and aha moments that we can actually begin to ground and actualize in our lives. And
mhm,
way it really doesn't matter what people bring to me. It doesn't
mhm.
matter that I don't know anything about tech and I work with techies. I mean, a lot of them are still women because we're all people, you
Yeah.
know, we're all this soul having this human experience. We have a lot of things in common. And so if I don't have any expectations or don't make any assumptions, even what they fill out for the intake form, it could bring something totally different. Who knows?
Mhm.
But I just think we have to be open to just allow that creativity to flow between
Yeah.
us as we're having that conversation.
Mm. Yeah, I love the allowing for creative opportunities, creative surprises to unfold. I'm curious, you've talked a lot about kind of being a listener or and that transition of in the legal field, you weren't really taught that aspect. And so what was that point for you when you discovered how important listening was, and how did you transition that for yourself to become this person who has a larger capacity to listen to others?
Well, I think it's like anything, well, it was like a slow process. I mean, I share this with people because it's true. It took me about 3 years to decide to do the diploma in coaching and mentoring. One of
Mm,
my girlfriends went through a regular coach. She's now an MCC coach, which is the highest thing you can be in International Coaching Federation. I'm a right below that, a PCC coach. But I was really arrogant as an attorney. It's like
mm,
I have a political science degree from Emory University, and I have a law degree. I don't need to do anything else. And I was like, and she was like, you'd really benefit from this, Arlene. You ought to think about it. And it was the best thing I ever did. I didn't
mm,
realize those skills that I was missing. I knew that was something was missing. And
mhm,
I just thought, and after 3 years, I'm like, I don't care how busy I am. I really have this knowing
mhm,
that I need to do this.
mm.
And it wasn't easy because, I was a full-time attorney.
Yeah.
My son then, I forget how old he was. It was 2011. He was still a kid, he
Hmm.
wasn't all grown up by any means. And so it was a lot. It was a
Hmm.
lot to take that, but it was one of the best things I've ever done.
Mm. What a gift to give yourself. Yeah, absolutely. Now, I mean, just that journey of working with people and working in a new capacity with people, I can imagine that your own experience of creativity and, how do you keep that balance of the work like working and coaching others and also supporting yourself in finding your own harmony in your life?
I mean, I think it's a journey for all of us. And, I think we sometimes teach what we most need to learn. Sometimes,
Mm.
words are coming out of my mouth or questions, and I sort of hear this still small voice going, "Are you listening?" So, it's there for all of us. I'm really, really grateful to have all the skills and tools. And I mean, one of the things I do for myself is, in the International Coaching Federation, there's reciprocal peer coaching where I can sign up for a very small amount of money. I get matched with a coach. Lots of times I meet really neat coaches around the world and they
Wow.
get matched up with me. So I'm coaching someone, someone's coaching me. And I also have a couple of really good friends that are awesome coaches that we just
Mm.
trade. And
Hmm.
so it keeps me on my toes,
Hmm.
with someone who's been trained like me, or a different training of how to do it and how to give and how to receive.
Hmm.
And I practice with myself.
Mm.
One of the best learning tools I ever got, and if you're in a profession where or someplace where you can actually record yourself
Hmm.
doing something that you're learning, and then go back and watch yourself not cringing or judging, and it took me a while.
Yeah.
You learn so much about what works and what doesn't work
Hmm.
because in the moment maybe it felt different.
Yeah, that's a great tip to if you can tolerate watching yourself.
It was a skill that I had to learn because at first it
Yeah.
was like, oh my God. But I did really move forward very quickly as a coach
Hmm.
by doing that. I just intuitively knew it. And then they incorporated into the school I graduated from, now required of everybody.
Oh,
So
wow. Yeah.
I know because yeah, I go back and do some work with them all the time. So yeah, it's a learning experience. We try things. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't,
This
and we
is
just keep on giving it a go.
so true. I'm curious, in your creative life, what's your earliest memory of being creative?
Um, well, I did try paint by numbers when I was a kid, and it was horrible. Um, oh, I did. I guess one of my earliest things that I did was, well, when I was growing up, there was no internet, but there was TV, and there was this TV show where they taught you how to play the guitar. And I
Oh.
decided I was going to learn. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think my parents would have sprung for guitar lessons. They already had me in piano lessons, which was sort of okay. Well, I did start piano lessons when I was 7.
Mm-hmm.
I went through them through the 12th grade.
Mm.
I'm not particularly talented as a piano player, but I'm grateful for the experience.
Sure.
But I really did love the guitar for a while, and it was really fun. There was this really cool lady that once a week she'd come on the TV and she'd show you how to do different chords and sing basic songs. So I could buy some guitar books and practice and play with that. And it was really fun, And by the time I got to college, I can remember just I was in a dorm that my first freshman year, and half of it was women and half of it was men on different floors. And we would go into like the hallway where the acoustics were amazing, and
Mm-hmm.
we would sing, and someone would play the guitar, and it was some of my best memories from my first year, my freshman year of college. It was just such a beautiful moment. We were all busy, but we did that, and everything just sort of fell away.
I love that. I'm curious, how has that experience continued to show up in your life today as an adult? I mean, not that you weren't an adult in college, but
I
how
wasn't
how has it continued to unfold and show up in your life today? Just that experience that you had.
I think the way it comes up the most frequently is I have a blog on my website and it has
Mm.
all kinds of topics.
Mhm.
And I really love to write. I know that I'm don't ask me to do any. Well, mechanically, I can put in the windshield wiper fluid into my car. I did that this week. It's been very cold in Colorado and I needed some more. I'm very proud of myself for that. Lifted up the hood, did that. Mechanical stuff is not my deal. I mean, I guess I
Mm.
could learn, don't really care, but I
Mhm.
love writing. And so one
Mm.
of my creative outlets is like writing my blog or doing a presentation or some sort of speaking thing where I really have to, pull things together and get out there and be creative with people. And I love this kind of stuff. I feel like we have to be really creative as a podcaster or a guest
Mhm.
to come on a show. I
Yeah.
guess that could be really boring, but that would be no fun. We have to be creative in order to really make it work.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And I love asking people how early creative experiences continue to show up in their life later on and what that does and how that informs things that they do. I mean, working with people who may not feel creative, I imagine they cross they cross your door or come through. I'm wondering, how do you encourage someone to find creativity in their life?
Well, I guess it's really, really important, especially if someone's really stressed out or burnt out. Lots of
Mhm.
times they're in front of their computer way too much
Yeah.
and they're not prioritizing themselves.
Mm.
So I love to help people feel into what makes your heart sing. Maybe it's going
Mm.
throwing, a bunch of clay on a wheel and learning how to make a pot, or gardening in the backyard, or going for a run, whatever it is that floats your boat. We need to have those kind of expressions. And I feel really strongly at being out in nature, which I find so incredibly healing,
Mhm.
a wonderful place, that we can just experience creativity. The beauty of nature is very creative. It's really, I really work to help them find something, especially if they're super burnout or super
Mhm.
stressed.
Yeah. For someone who is thinking, maybe I'm stressed, maybe I'm burnt out, what are those points that they might recognize to confirm that, yeah, I'm experiencing burnout or stress?
Really, I've never had anyone ask that to me because it usually just hits you like a sledgehammer and you kind of really feel it. It's like, I can't believe I'm going crazy at my computer, or, it just feels like we have so many different hats that we're wearing, that we just don't have enough time for everything. And so we have to let certain things slide, or we need to get help, outside help, maybe form a
Mhm.
tribe to help us.
Yeah.
Uh, it's really kind of a tale. I mean, people have headaches, people will have body aches. I know I
Mm.
got headaches. I got a lot of headaches when
Mm.
I was overwhelmed and stressed, or I'd have this tension right here that wouldn't want to go away.
Yeah.
We get stomachs, knots in our stomach. They're usually physiologically, our body is screaming at us. I
Hmm.
haven't met anyone yet where they don't know that they're experiencing stress. Otherwise, they probably wouldn't come to me. They think, oh, la, 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 everything's okay. Maybe they're just floating above their body or something, and that's why they don't know. But eventually it's going to hit home.
Yeah, absolutely. I just think sometimes we get so caught up in the work or the life or and recognizing that we've shifted into a new layer of stress or a new level of
Right.
stress
Yeah.
that our body does it hasn't adjusted to. That seems like a moment of yeah.
Yeah, you've hit something because I did that when I was younger. Well, what I would do is and I recognized it in other people. It was like, you need to stop, Arlene. Now you need to take a break. You need to take a break.
Mhm.
No, just one more thing, just one more thing. And
Yeah.
or I would just ignore certain things in my life that weren't healthy, that weren't loving, that weren't supporting. And I was in my early 30s, and I literally the visual that I have is I got hit by a 2x4 and was whacked on the floor. And I'm like, I don't know if I can ever give up. It was like, it wasn't physically, it was
Hmm.
just, I had not listened. I had not been paying attention to my feelings. And I learned very viscerally
Yeah.
that you don't want to do that anymore because it was
Yeah.
really difficult. I had, I was divorced. The relationship I thought was going to work and be the next thing for me fell through. And it was like, looking back, it's like, why did you even want to date this person? So and I was looking around at all my friends, I go to my workout club, and everyone seemed to be in a wonderful, happy relationship. No, it's true. I didn't know that. But I
Hmm.
wanted, I was doing that comparison thing. So yes,
Yeah.
I have lived through that. I didn't realize the point you were making. But when you don't listen to your own knowing, the
Yeah.
universe is really good about saying, hello, hello, hello. And
Yeah.
finally, you'll have something on the ground to experience. So I like to help people before they get to that. And sometimes I even share that with them. You don't have to,
Hmm.
you can stand on my shoulders. You don't
Mm.
have to get hit by a 2x4 and be on the floor and not listen the way I did.
Yeah. So how, for people who are struggling to listen to themselves, to others, what are some tips to start that process?
Well, I think that we're actually, we know how to do that. Because if
Mm.
we had a friend or someone we love or someone we care about, and they're coming to us and they're telling us all the things that are going wrong in their life and just having a nice little dump or whatever it is, we, if we cared about them and they just weren't doing a big, huge dump and then walking away and doing something that's energetically not okay, but they were just
Hmm.
really sharing,
Hmm.
we would listen to them.
Hmm.
We would encourage them. We would nurture them. We would support them. We would champion them. If their head was at a dark place and we really had that rapport with them, we might say, your head is at a dark place, you need to take it out.
Uh-huh.
But we have those skills and abilities.
Mm.
All we have to do is turn around and give them to ourselves.
Mm. Hmm.
And if we start giving them to ourselves, and we're asking the universe, please show me where I'm
Hmm.
engaging behavior or self-talk or ways of being that are not supportive, because I really would like to change.
Hmm.
And then and then we can start listening, maybe even jotting down some of the things that are coming up to us. Or I find that sometimes someone will say something to me, or I'll see something in someone else
Hmm.
that's something that I need to change within myself.
Mm. Hmm.
And that happens to me a lot. I think because maybe I'm listening now, as the universe is pretty good with showing me that kind of stuff. It's a little
Hmm.
bit humiliating in moments, but it's always good.
Sure. That
So
paying
yes,
attention.
yeah,
Hmm. That's wonderful. I think paying attention is one of the most important pieces and sometimes the most challenging. Where,
yeah,
especially for women, paying attention to everyone else and everything else, it's really difficult to start paying attention to yourself in maybe move you higher up the list of attention support.
yeah.
Hmm.
I think it's really important, because if we don't engage in that self-care, that self-love, paying attention to how we feel about things and then doing something about it to take care of ourselves. If it's
Hmm.
creative, that's great. It's a great
Hmm.
outlet. Um, what's going to happen is our cup is going to get empty, 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 empty until it's just totally empty. And
Yeah.
what I see that people do is that I know that this is what I did. I got angry, I got upset, I would lash out. Then I would feel super guilty about it. And I would go into my people pleasing doormat behavior. And it would go
Mm-hmm.
in this big cycle. But if we engage in that self care, if we fill ourselves up with self care, self love, creativity is a part of that,
Mm-hmm.
obviously. We share the overflow of that love, that creativity ourselves with other people, they're going to benefit and we're going to benefit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be a win-win situation for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And so it doesn't make any sense. I mean, I know that it feels like it's been genetically passed on from generation to generation to
Sure.
generation. I really see that in my mother and her mother. But we can be the models that break that cycle.
Mm-hmm.
And when we view it as that, we can go, wow, I'm not being selfish. I'm not, there's no reason to be guilty. I can be more loving and caring with the people that are important to me in my life if I take time for myself.
Yeah. What a gift to give yourself to in that. Yeah. So, what are the creative outlets that you find yourself engaging in these days that are just for you, that to keep your cup full?
Well, I was a runner, but I sort of ran myself into the ground because I didn't listen to my body. But I have an active yoga practice and I'm a
Mm.
part of a yoga school that I love and has really cool people there. And I find that it is creative, all
Mhm.
the different postures and I don't know, it's just something that floats my boat now a lot and just being in that whole atmosphere. Mostly it's too bad more men don't come to it. It's not easy. Um, but I really love the camaraderie
Mm.
and working with my body and the breath work and
Mhm.
and all the things that come up to feel and move with it. It just feels like a really cool process.
I love that. I love knowing that you're finding something that keeps your cup full to keep that creative energy continuing to flow. Oh, it's been such a treat to chat with you. I have one last question.
Okay.
What does it feel like in your body to be creative?
Oh, I think it's like when I get like in a flow, it's like I lose track of time and space
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just there fully present. And when you're there fully present like that, all that stress and angst goes away, because
Yeah.
you're just so involved in the moment. And that's how I experience creativity. Now, not all the time when I was painting. Sometimes I would look at it going, oh my God, this is never going to work. But it would eventually come around and I get back into that flow thing again.
Yeah. It is a process, but I love
It is a process.
it.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Arlene, for taking the time to chat with me. If people want to learn more about the work you do, how could they go about doing that?
Great. So my website is Jewel Consultancy, like the diamond Jewel. And on there's my phone number, my email address, and there's this offering is not on my website, but I do it to anyone when I'm on your podcast to just refer to this podcast. You can text me at 720-936-2634. Just mention the podcast. And I will gift you with a free mini soul reading. So I do it's creative.
Yeah.
I do soul readings with psychic tarot, oracle cards. It's really a form of mentoring. I'm not a psychic. I just sort of heart connect with you. We can do it over the computer. And
Mm-hmm.
I'll just give you a mini reading with, two or three cards and obstacles, challenges, opportunities, all those things. Happy to share.
Well, that's so wonderful. I hope people take you up on that and get their mini soul readings. And thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me. I've thoroughly enjoyed our conversation.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Sustaining Creativity Podcast. We'd love to keep in touch, so follow us on Facebook and Instagram. We are at Sustaining Creativity. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. Tag your friends and family so they can listen too. We love to hear from you, so leave your reviews, comments, and questions. Check out our website, sustainingcreativity.com, for upcoming offerings and creativity coaching. Tune in Tuesdays for our next episode. And remember, with creativity, anything's possible.